The many deities of Westeros and the free cities were reserved, drawn back into passive roles while their followers forged lives in the world below. Even the most pious men questioned their own faith, believing their prayers were going unanswered by the gods they so heartily worshipped. But of all the gods and goddesses, of all the mythic figures of ancient legend and folklore, one appeared more active in his works: R'hllor, the Lord of Light, blessed his followers with visions, and even gave one man the power of resurrection. This man was Thoros of Myr. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Exploring Fiction. The Pink Priest wasn't known for his piety or religious fervor, but Thoros was blessed with this gift nonetheless, and he used it to keep his leader, the Lightning Lord Beric Dondarrion, alive, even after suffering countless mortal wounds. Thoros hardly seemed worthy of such powers, even though he was a Red Priest, but he was chosen anyway. He's shown as an example of the Lord of Light's power and will, and proved that even men of weak resolve can be of worth to those above. So, who exactly is Thoros of Myr, and why is he such an interesting character? Let's explore. Thoros was born in an unspecified year to unspecified parents in the free city of Myr. He was the youngest of 8 children, and thus dumped at the doorstep of the nearest Red Temple when he was quite young. As he matured, Thoros earned the official title of Red Priest of R'hllor, but his tendencies were far from the strict moral codes of any religious order. He heartily enjoyed women and fighting, and also loved to drink, especially wine. He often joked that he became a Red Priest to hide the wine stains that spilled often onto his robes. He also possessed a gift for speaking in tongues, and could interpret the visions in the flames sent from his god if he so desired. When the Order of R'hllor heard word of a Westerosi king obsessed with fire, it determined the time to spread its doctrine to the 7 kingdoms was at hand. Thoros was tasked with the great honor, and was sent to King's Landing to convert King Aerys Targaryen II, the Mad King, to the faith. He failed, however, and he began to question the strength of his own resolve. Soon, though, the 7 kingdoms were thrust into conflict, and Robert's rebellion swept the land. Thoros was present before the Iron Throne itself when Lord Tywin Lannister presented Lord Robert Baratheon with the corpses of the late Prince Rhaegar's children, wrapped in red silk to hide their mortal wounds. Far from faint of heart, even Thoros despised Sir Gregor Clegane, the Mountain, from that day forth for his ruthless barbarity during the sack of King's Landing. Once Robert Baratheon sat as king of all Westeros, he and Thoros became quite good friends, drinking together and forming a companionship over alcohol. It was rumored Thoros was one of the only men able to outdrink the Roaring King. And when a new threat rocked the kingdoms in the form of Greyjoy's rebellion, Thoros fought bravely for his friend, earning renown and recognition for being the first man over the wall at Pike. He gained the reputation of being a madman with a flaming sword, brave but of questionable sanity when the thrill of a fight was upon him, and it was a reputation Thoros could hardly dispute. During peacetime, Thoros reveled in feasts and tourneys as often as he could, and even excelled in the latter, winning many tourney melees. To heighten his image, he would use flaming swords in the fights, cheap weapons set alight with wildfire to scare his opponents. Most likely because of this feature, he defeated Sandor Clegane, the Hound, 3 times in melee battle. But at the tourney of young Joffrey Baratheon's name day, Thoros was defeated by Bronze Jan Royce, who wielded a common mace against the Pink Priest's sword, whose flame faltered at a crucial point. The best blacksmith in King's Landing, Tobo Mott, often chides and chastises Thoros for constantly damaging his work with his flames, and overcharges him for replacements. But Thoros' antics are admired by King Robert, who pays for any and all repairs. By the time Robert has sat on the Iron Throne for years, Thoros was described as a tall and fat man due to his love of feasts, with a bald head and a smooth face. Slight madness glinted in his eye, especially during a fight, and he was draped in the red robes of R'hllor, which would eventually fade to pink from age and wear, and he carried with him always a sword, set alight for grand effect. Thoros of Myr is first seen in A Song of Ice and Fire in the opening novel A Game of Thrones, where he performs with his usual grandeur in the tourney celebrating the naming of Eddard Stark as Hand of the King. In the tourney, he defeats his future leader, Lord Beric Dondarrion, in the tilts, and then emerges victorious from the 3-hour melee, as he often does. Much later, when the king's peace is threatened, Lord Eddard chooses Thoros to handpick 20 men to join him and Lord Beric in hunting down and bringing Sir Gregor Clegane to heel. But Ned Stark is quickly swallowed up in his own precarious predicament, and Thoros, Beric, and their hardy men raid Lord Tywin Lannister's foraging parties in the countryside. Thoros and Beric are among those summoned back to the capital to swear fealty to the new king, Joffrey Baratheon. But they possess other ideas of how war and peace should be conducted in the realm. In A Clash of Kings, only words on the wind are spoken of Thoros and his companions, and they reveal that Beric's band has adapted to the life of outlaws. From among them, Thoros is attempting to aid the common folk, gifting the low-born Riverlanders paper notes to attempt to placate their rising peril. In A Storm of Swords, Thoros is a different man than when last seen among the king's court. After Arya Stark is captured with her friends by the Brotherhood Without Banners, Harwin, one of her father's old guardsmen, explains to her that they indeed fell upon Sir Gregor at the Battle of the Mummers Ford, or rather, he fell upon them. The Mountain drove his lance through Beric the Lightning Lord, and the battle was lost there and then, but Thoros rallied Beric's horsemen, allowing Dondarrion to escape while grasping to life. Once safe from any imminent threat, Thoros removed the lance and attempted to heal Lord Beric, but he perished from his wounds. Grieving for his fallen leader, Thoros prepared for burial and performed the last kiss upon the Lightning Lord, a common ritual placed upon the dead by the Red Priests, but in doing so, resurrected Beric. With what forces they had left at their backs, Beric and Thoros together formed the Brotherhood Without Banners, who now serve as hidden outlaws protecting the common people of the Riverlands, men who bow to no lord or king if they do not wish. Thoros himself undergoes a resurrection, though of a different style, after his success healing Lord Dondarrion. His faith is renewed and strengthened to greater lengths than it had ever been, and he revives Beric every time the man falls in battle. He is witness to brighter and clearer visions in the flames, and leads his fellow outlaws in praying to R'hllor, converting them to his faith. Yet despite his newfound piety, Thoros still grows older and gaunter, stemming from constant life in the wild. No longer is he fat, but loose-skinned and narrow. No longer is he bald, but gray-haired with the hints of a musty beard. His red robes have faded drastically, leading to many dubbing him the Pink Priest, and his armor is pieced together from countless trinkets he'd picked off corpses and found strewn on the roads. Thoros and many other members of the Brotherhood gain respect and gratitude from the small folk they protect, aiding them in finding food and receiving favors from local inns and brothels. With Arya Stark as witness, Beric Dondarrion duels the captured Hound, Sandor Clegane, in a guerrilla trial for crimes ambiguous in name. When the Hound emerges victorious, he flees the Hollow Hill, but Thoros is present to once again heal his fearless leader. The Pink Priest continues in his crusade, wielding a flaming sword as he did in the long-forgotten melees at the Battle of the Burning Septry, and he later continues on with Beric to converse with the ghost of High Heart. As prospects of a peaceful world remain dark, Thoros sees a vision of the forthcoming siege of Riverrun in his flames. In A Feast for Crows, Thoros remains in the Brotherhood, though many new faces surround him. In her search for Sansa Stark, Brienne of Tarth finds herself at the Crossroads Inn, where she is attacked by Rorge and Biter, and the few others that remain of the brave companions. Though she defeats them with help, Brienne is severely wounded, and is captured by the Brotherhood. Thoros oversees her captivity, and explains to her the present situation of the outlaw band. He says that after the atrocity of the Red Wedding, the Brotherhood stumbled upon the corpse of Lady Catelyn Stark on a riverbank. Some advocated for Thoros to revive the fallen woman, but he refused to give her the last kiss. Instead, Lord Beric had bent above the corpse, and passed his own flame of life into the form of Lady Catelyn, killing himself and resurrecting her as the mostly silent Lady Stoneheart. The very same Lady Stoneheart now leads the Brotherhood without banners, and her vision for their goal changes from aiding the small folk to hunting down any and all perpetrators of the Red Wedding. Some men abandon the Brotherhood, but Thoros stays. However, he questions Lady Stoneheart's motives and methods, and finds he's often crestfallen at the tasks and justice they now perform. He yearns for the days of Lord Beric's leadership, missing when the Lightning Lord rode beside the Pink Priest. In his early years, it seemed as though Thoros would be one of the least effective and least influential priests of R'hllor across the entire land. He shunned his responsibilities for the pleasures of the mortal life, enjoying women and drinking and fighting. With his flaming sword, he impressed crowds with the shimmering facade of the Lord of Light's power. Yet, when the great farce of the King's Peace is torn to shreds, the life of the man called the Pink Priest alters dramatically. Physical changes aside, Thoros is renewed and replenished in his faith. It wells up inside him greater than ever before. Gone are his wants of fleeting desires, replaced only by his yearning to do R'hllor's will. The night fires burn brighter than ever before, and he can interpret his visions with greater clarity. The Lord of Light grants him a power possessed by not even some of the strictest red priests in the world, like Melisandre or Makoro. It is to Thoros of Myr that R'hllor first presents the ability of resurrection, and its uses and implications are boundless. He, Thoros of Myr, a man weak in his faith and weaker in its preaching, is chosen to wield this gift. The Lord of Light is mysterious indeed. Instead of rewarding those strong in the faith, he instead presents a power upon one of his weaker thralls to create an everlasting belief within a man whose grip on his identity was previously slipping away. Thoros uses the power to revive Lord Beric Dondarrion, keeping the morale of the Brotherhood Without Banners high, and strengthening his own faith in the process. And when Lord Beric sees a corpse more worthy than he to continue on in this world, he passes the gift of renewed life onto Lady Catelyn Stark, bringing Lady Stoneheart to life. The very will of the small folk yet lives because of Thoros and R'hllor's power through him, ensuring even lowborn have a voice in the Game of Thrones. What's more, this gift of resurrection has even farther possible reach than a mere petty squabble over a seat. At the wall, a good man lays bleeding and dying in the snow. And no matter the results of that particular conflict, the others, undead animations of ice, stalk closer and closer to Westeros. Thoros of Myr can reanimate living beings with the breath of fire, quite possibly a useful tool in the greatest fight that is yet to arrive. Tourneys, brothels, endless bottles of wine. All such things held great sway over Thoros of Myr in his youth and early adulthood. But no more. With the inception of the War of the Five Kings and the formation of the Brotherhood Without Banners, Thoros became a new man, granted the power to bring back slain individuals from the doors of the dead. Of all priests, of all men, he alone was granted this ability, and he used it to keep the fight alive for the downtrodden common folk of the Seven Kingdoms, enacting the most real justice in the Game of Thrones. The power granted to Thoros had meaning both in the nature of the Lord of Light and in the implications in the physical world, and had the chance to alter the tides of fate. A blossoming hope may have emerged from his ethereal gift, a way to combat the greatest evils of the world. Thoros of Myr is a harbinger of resurrection. So, that's all for this video. Leave a comment with your thoughts. I'd love to hear them. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you're new here. I'd love to have you. Visit my website, RussellAWellsAuthor.com, for exclusive fiction and more, and sign up for my mailing list for free exclusive content. The links for both are in the description below. So, like always, I will see you next time.